Here is a terrifying biological fact. Your brain is not a storage hard drive, it is a muscle. And right now, for most of you, that muscle is actively atrophying. You have been lied to. You were told that your IQ is fixed, that you are born smart or average, and that is your lot in life. That is false. Neuroplasticity works both ways. Just as you can build neural pathways, your brain has a process called synaptic pruning. If you do not use a connection, your brain marks it as waste and physically cuts it off to save energy. If you feel like you are slower, foggier, or less sharp than you were 5 years ago, it's not aging, it's decay. Psychologists call this negative plasticity. You are not just stagnating, you are training your brain to be less intelligent. Every time you choose the easy path, the short answer, or the quick dopamine hit, you are reinforcing a neural highway that bypasses critical thinking. You are effectively rewiring your own hardware to be a consumer rather than a creator. Today, we are dissecting the 7 specific behaviors that signal your cognitive decline and how to stop the rot before it becomes permanent. The first sign is cognitive offloading. Ask yourself, when was the last time you memorized a phone number or navigated to a new location without a blue line telling you where to turn? This seems convenient, but it comes at a cost. Studies on London taxi drivers showed they had enlarged hippocampi, the part of the brain responsible for memory and spatial navigation. But in the age of GPS, our hippocampi are shrinking. When you outsource your memory to a device, your brain stops allocating energy to that function. You are trading your biological capability for digital convenience. You are literally forgetting how to remember. But forgetting directions is annoying. This next sign is dangerous. It explains why you can't sit still for more than 2 minutes. Sign 2. The dopamine short circuit. We are living in an epidemic of instant gratification. This is the death of long-term planning. The prefrontal cortex is the CEO of your brain. It handles impulse control and future planning, but things like infinite scrolling, 15-second clips, and junk food bypass the CEO and go straight to the pleasure centers. If you find yourself unable to watch a movie without checking your phone, or unable to read a book without scanning the pages, your dopamine loops are fried. You are training your brain to reject anything that requires sustained effort. You are losing the ability to be bored, and boredom is where deep thinking happens. The third sign of low cognitive function is binary thinking. This is the inability to hold 2 opposing thoughts in your head at the same time. Look at social media comments. Everything is good or bad, right or wrong, hero or villain. This is low-resolution thinking. It is cognitively expensive to analyze nuance, to understand context, and to admit that a situation is complex. The shrinking mind rejects complexity because it is painful. If you find yourself immediately judging a situation without asking why or what if, your critical faculties are shutting down. And this leads directly to the most annoying and most revealing trait of all. Sign 4. The metacognition failure, Dunning-Kruger. You know this person. They are the loudest one in the room. They have an opinion on everything, politics, medicine, economics, despite having 0 expertise. Psychology calls this the Dunning-Kruger effect. But here's the deeper layer. It is a failure of metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. Intelligent minds constantly scan for errors. They ask, could I be wrong? The declining mind has lost the ability to self-audit. Confidence without competence isn't a personality quirk. It is a symptom of a brain that has stopped checking its own work. Sign 5. The echo chamber, intellectual inbreeding. If everyone you follow, listen to, and hang out with agrees with you, your brain is rotting. This is intellectual inbreeding. Processing a disagreement requires energy. You have to simulate the other person's perspective, weigh their evidence, and construct a counter-argument. That is a heavy mental lift. The decaying brain avoids this heavy lift by curating a reality where it is never challenged. If you feel anger instead of curiosity when you hear an opposing view, that is your ego protecting a fragile intellect. Here is the brutal reality. If you engage in these habits, outsourcing your memory, frying your dopamine receptors, and hiding in an echo chamber, you are becoming what simulation theorists call an NPC, non-player character. You are reacting to scripts written by algorithms rather than thinking for yourself. So, how do you stop the atrophy? You need cognitive resistance. You must deliberately do things that are unnecessary and difficult. Read a book that uses language too complex for you. Drive somewhere without the GPS. Sit in a room for 15 minutes with no phone, just your thoughts. Your brain wants comfort. You must give it friction. Pain is the only way a muscle grows, and your mind is no different. Stop looking for the hack and start doing the work.